Hello, this is Eric, and today I'm going to be doing a video about the races in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. These are only the ones in the player's handbook, and if this video does well enough, I might extend into other editions, or other, of the 5th edition rulebooks. Okay, please like and subscribe, and it would be very good if you did, because I like internet points on the internet. Okay, first, humans. Humans are like the ultimate beginner thing, you know. Humans get either humans get either +1 to every ability score, or +1 to 2 ability scores, proficiency in a skill of your choice, and 1 feat. Humans are simple and great for beginners. They can be specialized or sort of a jack of all trades. If you aren't playing a variant human, it's more possible to get balanced scores. There isn't much roleplay baggage. Just don't go overkill with your backstory, because that's how you get a bad character. Or just don't go overkill with your backstory ever, because that's a pretty bad thing. It's not good. And then there's a ton of different types of humans and stuff. And then also they dang, where is it? Wait, sorry for here we are. Okay. Humans tend to not lean towards any alignment, although when I've seen people play, they certainly seem to lean towards chaotic. Actually, they don't, but everyone seems to lean towards chaotic, which really is just an excuse for making lazy characters sometimes, who just want to be able to do anything or whatever. And then they have, they live for less than a century normally, and then there's, human stuff, and then you can speak, write, and read common, and then you get 1 extra language as a human. Dwarf. All dwarves get a +2 to Constitution, and after that you either get +1 to Wisdom or +1 to Strength. They always have resistance to poison, and they take half damage from poison damage. Dwarves are alright for beginners. They get lots of health and lots of constitution. They have lots of proficiencies and are proficient in history when the things are made out of stone. The small amount of roleplay baggage they have is very manageable and can be interesting. That being, not trusting people, and because of how long they live, they don't trust people very well oftentimes until the other person dies. Unless you're an elf, then, I know it's going to take longer for the elf probably. So, I guess I already talked about all that. They get a base walking speed of 25 feet, but it is not reduced by wearing armor, or heavy armor, which it normally is. And then, you have proficiency with the battle axe, hand axe, light hammer, and war hammer, which is a ton of proficiencies right there. And then they make amazing paladins and good fighters. And then I didn't write this down here, but they also could be a pretty good barbarian. Okay, elf. All elves get a +2 to dexterity, and they could either get a +1 to intelligence, or +1 to wisdom, or +1 to charisma. They could also get advantage while rolling a charm, or they always get advantage while rolling a charm save. Elves tend to lead towards chaotic, except for the ones who get +1 charisma, who are drow. They tend to lean towards chaotic or lawful evil. Elves are okay for beginners, as long as you put some points in the Constitution, stay out of the front line. You also can't be put to sleep using magic. However, serious roleplay baggage can be hard for new players. In fact, even some players who've been playing for a while are still really annoyed when I say, hey, your elf is too accepting of everyone. Your elf was raised in elf society. They should not just let anyone into a party and consider them their best friend. And then they all get annoyed at that. I'm like, well, no, okay, that's a thing. Elves are a good, I'll have to talk more about that. I'm kind of rambling on here. Elves make great wizards and sorcerers. Bards and warlocks are not ideal, but they still work. Making an elf paladin is incredibly stupid, but could potentially work. Rogues are okay. And then there's the high elves and wood elves, and then there's the drow or dark elves. They worship Lolth, while the other guys don't do that. Then next should be Dragonborns. Dragonborns get a +1 to Charisma and a +2 to Strength. You also get a breath weapon depending on what your Draconic ancestry is. They also get resistance to whatever type of damage their breath weapon is. I would recommend for a second character, like if you're in a different campaign than your first one, or you have your first character died, you should use a Dragonborn for that. You have to deal with the breath weapon upgrades as you level up. They have a little bit of roleplay baggage, like only showing up about 100 years ago, and also they think there's no such thing as a good dragon who's not a Dragonborn. But Dragonborns are only related to dragons. Dragonborns are not half dragon, half human. Dragonborns are their own thing. They make great sorcerers and fighters, and then they also make pretty good paladins. Even if it's theoretically okay, don't make a Dragonborn warlock for roleplay reasons, or a cleric. Dragonborns don't usually relying on others. They want to be like the people who help themselves. Okay, now we have a gnome. Okay, so gnomes, they get a +2 to intelligence, +1 to dexterity, and can talk to small animals, or +1 constitution. You have the ability to make one of 3 little things with 10 gold pieces and artisan's tool. Now, these 3 things are the clockwork toy, which is a little mechanical animal monster or person. So it could be like a frog, a mouse, a bird, a dragon, a soldier. When placed on the ground, the toy moves 5 feet across the ground. On each one of your turns, it turns in a random direction and it makes noises as appropriate to the creature it represents. You can make a fire starter. This device produces a miniature flame, which can be used to light a candle, torch, campfire. Using the device requires your action, or a music box. When opened, this music box plays a single song at a moderate volume. The box stops playing when it reaches a song end, or when it is closed. And then forest gnomes also have the natural illusionists. They're the guys who get the +2 dexterity. They can cast minor illusion as you use the minor illusion cantrip, you have it, and they make good wizards and rogues. And if you want a gnome barbarian, well, you don't. Half-elves. Half-elves get a +2 to charisma and a +1 to any 2 stats. Half-elves get the same Fey ancestry traits as elves. They are good for beginners, very customizable. They get proficiency in 2 skills. However, they do not fit in with either elves or humans. Humans, or most things, call them half-elves, and they're like, oh yeah, you're a half-elf, sure, that's great. And then elves, they're like, ew, half-humans, bleh. Elves more so. They could make amazing bards, clerics, druids, paladins, and fighters. But rogue could also work. And then, to end things here, there's the half-orc. And half-orcs get +2 strength and +1 constitution. And once per long rest, if you go below 1 HP, you can keep going for 1 turn. They are very good for beginners. They have proficiency in intimidation. The only roleplay baggage they have is, people believe that half-orcs are as dumb and savage as actual orcs, which a lot of people roleplay them like that, which is pretty good for beginners. But it'd be better to actually play a lawful one because they're drawn towards chaos. Now, that would be kind of interesting for roleplay baggage. besides that, they make perfect barbarians, and paladins are also a good option. And that's the end of this thing here. Thanks for watching my kind of boring, kind of rambly 10-minute video about the races in Dungeons and Dragons. If this does well enough, like, it's a lot of information, so who knows, maybe you could use it to actually make your character. It covers quite a few of the bases, but if this video does well enough, tell me in the comments if you want me to do a video on rifts, a video on, like, the other races from different books in Dungeons and Dragons, or, like, a guide to the classes, or a guide to the, like, what is it? Forget it. Just request any type of video in the comments, as long as it's sort of related to this one. Thanks for watching. Sorry it goes on for so long. Bye.